Hey cats and kittens. I missed y'all. Ooh, my voice is sounding away. You guys know it always sounds away, but I missed y'all. First of all, I also do stand-up comedy, I'll confess to y'all. So I had a month where I was like literally all March I had shows and stuff. Brag, brag, brag. But yeah, I was busy doing shows and I needed to like get everything back together so that I could enjoy it. But I did the Your Next Miracle, so check that out. I did the Oscars reading and I was right about some and so hilariously wrong about others, so check that out too. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I hope you guys all are too. I feel like a new person in spring. And today, you already know Seven Heaven, the most blessed and highly favored channel on the what, the you, the tube. And guess what, y'all? We're gonna do the thing people can't stop talking about. I talked about this before, but the girls, they're not fighting. It's like the internet's making them fight, but Hailey Baldwin and Selena Gomez are constantly coming up in headlines because people can't leave them alone. And why? Because of things with Justin Bieber, which I really hope he's okay, because there's been a lot of things. But I'm just gonna do a reading on the girls right now because there was a 7-part. Who has time to watch a 7-part series on her obsession? Like, not me. Definitely not me, but I'm curious about this, so I'm just gonna read some cards between the girls because I'm curious what the energy is. And I'm sure at the end of the day, everything's fine. I kind of feel bad for Hailey because she has that new baby and she has her husband who's having a bit of a crash out right now. And like, to be honest, y'all, like, addiction is a serious thing. I know Justin Bieber's been through a lot, and I think he was sober for a while, or claimed to be sober, but people have seen him using again. He's been posting pictures with weed and stuff, which weed's not that big of a deal, y'all, but I think it's just more the idea of use and abuse of things and whatever, but we'll get into it. You know, we have the history of Hailey being obsessed with Selena and Justin Bieber for like 10 years before they got together. And I mean, honestly, who knows? We don't know these people. We don't know their hearts, but that's why I wanted to do this reading today. And yeah, so we have Selena Gomez, who's born on, and I'm going to use 4 decks, y'all. That's why I'm doing all the shuffling now. I prayed, I fasted, I meditated, everything. But yeah. We're just gonna check out the energy of like what was the history of it, and like, was there some obsession thing? We don't know, but Hailey Baldwin's born on November 22nd, 1996, which makes her a tropical Sagittarius and a sidereal Scorpio. Yeah, she is the niece of Alec Baldwin. I forget which one's her dad. I should have looked that up, but yeah, so she's like a Baldwin sister. And honestly, y'all, I think it's interesting. There's like pictures of her and Justin Bieber going way back, and like videos of her at certain concerts, just kind of checking them out and looking around. And we'll see what the cards reflect about this, because obviously we have our own thoughts always, but we'll see what the cards have to say first. I'm just shuffling to get these out, y'all. But yeah, I know Hailey Baldwin just had her baby, and she's a model. I think I've seen her like pictures up in Victoria's Secret and things like that. I'm pretty sure she grew up around LA, so all quite particular energies. And y'all know I gotta get, so yeah, let me read Hailey first, then we'll pull for Selena. But okay, and that's clear as day. So what do we have for Miss Hailey Baldwin? Okay. So y'all see here, we have the reversed Three of Pentacles and the reversed Two of Wands. Now, and pardon like there's like a cool reflection thing happening because I cracked my phone. But y'all see that. So basically the negative Three of Pentacles, and I can pull clarifiers for this, but a negative Three of Pentacles is more or less someone who's not recognized their own talent. I know some people are kind of cruel and call her talentless, but I don't think anybody is without talent. I'll say that right off the bat. No one doesn't have a talent, but it's like an undiscovered talent. So somebody who maybe undervalues their talents. And then we have this reverse Two of Wands as well. And so these two coming out together for me is just like undiscovered talents. And if the Two of Wands is planning and the Three of Wands is taking it into action, from this Two of Wands, I'm really just hearing, well, I don't make plans for myself. Okay, and then we also have this Ace of Pentacles, which it's like a money blessing, and heaven knows, I mean, Mr. Bieber'S is quite a wealthy gentleman, but we have, it's almost like this golden goose that's being chased in a way. And what's it being chased with? This Knight of Wands. Like, I have my eye on this particular prize, and no one and nothing will, like, no one and nothing will make me change anything or desire anything else until I get that prize, is what I am hearing with these two. Now, pull clarifier, I hear from Pulp. And I have to, I really think it will come up, but with the lack of, not only lack of discovered talent, but like lack of nurturing one's own talent, I find that to be an interesting thing. And it's almost addiction based. Let's see. There's almost an addiction component with it though. What do we have for Miss Baldwin? Let's do another clarify. Okay. Yep, so like this poverty mind, almost starved of passion. And that was like the number one. And the Star in reverse. So it's like, this is somebody who's not used to putting themselves front and center. And what I get, ultimately the message from this, and like, is there vibes of obsession and stuff? Sure, but for me, because I think when people say obsession, it's overly simplified. Of course, we have Hailey Baldwin, who's born on November 22nd, which is a tropical Sagittarius and a sidereal Scorpio. But like this poverty mindset, Star in reverse, never putting oneself first. Three of Pentacles reverse. Like, this is someone that doesn't recognize their own value and hasn't nurtured their own talents. And why, do we ask? That's simple. Because, and I know, like, obviously we don't know anyone, we can't diagnose anybody, but if we're stepping back from beyond just Hailey, there's what's called love addiction, y'all. And it's not necessarily as like as charming or as sexy as it sounds. It's basically whenever somebody uses the affections of another and the fantasy promise of unconditional positive regard from another person as like a drug to regulate themselves. It happens from a lot of people, like from the time they're a kid, because they just self-soothe. It starts with school crushes and all these other things. But I just feel like if we're not even talking about, if we're talking archetypes, like I just sense like this sense of lack, and that like I'm not the star of my own life. I don't have control of my own life, and I don't know what my talents are. That often comes from a person who is not, and I know like she has her business and stuff, and I don't even mean to put this on somebody, but I think if we're just talking archetypes and the things that we know, that kind of obsession too, like that overall passion to just that drive and that idea of like the one track mind, like I only want to go for this thing. I don't know. I find that quite interesting because it's like, yeah, Knight of Wands again, like, and that's her Sag energy, but that's, I'm just so fixated on getting this thing. That comes from love addiction. And it's like when we're love addicted with somebody, we don't just want them. We want the promise of whatever we've attached to them, which could be now my star. It could be like now I'll be famous. It could be a lot of things, but it could also just be like I'll feel talented. Like I'll feel talented. I'll value myself. And so that's what it comes down to for me. Like, do I think she was obsessed and moving constantly forward towards him? Yes. And same with Selena, because that's another love addiction thing. And we'll get into the Selena cards too, but that's a love addiction thing as well. When it just comes down to you view the competition for the person, whether that's friends, family, exes, current lovers, like you view them as being this unflawed person that's so desired by the person. Or even if you don't think they're flawed, you just think they have something that you may not. So, you know, there's energy of maybe Hailey thinking that, oh, well, if I had her talent and her stardom, this person would love me and I'll feel complete. And I feel like, again, I don't mean to dunk on her. I know we've talked about handler energy, but which when I talk about that too, let me clarify. I think it can be as simple as when someone belongs to like a controlling friend group or church or something, and you have people who want to break away from the friend group and people who are still loyal to the friend group that are like, hey, what do you da-da-da? And then you say, I don't want to be around them anymore. And then this person will come back as a flying monkey to be like, and they said your breath stinks and everything. Like, and we know like that's why I think sidereal astrology is so valid too, because her sidereal Scorpio, Hailey's sidereal Scorpio is, it's in, well, it's just her sidereal Scorpio is in that sign that starts with O and ends with possession. Okay, like the obsession is real and the passion is real too, but it comes more from a lack of fulfillment and self-love rather than just like I'm so obsessed with him. And I really think it always does. Like I don't even mean, look at Jodi Arias, look at Betty Broderick, look at many people. It doesn't matter. Obsession comes from that love addiction and that idea of like, if someone takes this person away, I have nothing. It's a scarcity thing. And so again, like I don't mean to hate on Miss Hay, but it's just someone who has no passion for themselves and uses the other person to soothe, quite literally, so they're chemically addicted. Okay, so that's what the cards are giving us for Miss Hailey. Let's look at Selena, who's born. Selena is born July 22nd, 1992. And so she's a tropical Cancer on the very last day of tropical Cancer. And she's a sidereal Cancer as well. So everyone who comes for me on the astrology stuff will like the fact that it's the same either way. And I hope y'all had a good eclipse too. Maybe I'll do a little eclipse reading to see what's going up for y'all. And remember to put in the comments what y'all want me to do readings about, but I figured I would do this because it's been so hot. And like, good for Selena Gomez too. I have to say this while I shuffle. Good for Selena because she had, I think the album's called I Said I Love You First. And it came out March 21st, 2025. So right on that spring equinox. And there's features, like guest appearances from Gracie Abrams, who I've never heard a Gracie Abrams song, y'all. Comment below if you like Gracie Abrams. Like, I couldn't be bothered to even check it out. And no shade to Gracie. Nothing that I've seen or heard has made me go, oh, I need to listen to Gracie Abrams now, but maybe I'm missing out. The Marias, I like the Marias a lot. They had this album, I forgot what it was called, but it was fire. The Marias are it. They're it, honey. Tiny, okay? So she went up, I don't know, between Benny Blanco, who's Latin, Selena Gomez is Latin, then you have the Marias, Tiny, and J Balvin, all Latin hotties who are doing well they're doing the thing. And then something by Glorilla. You know, these are chart toppers, so good for Selena because this was a success pinnacle too. And of course now, like, Hailey being someone who's years into this journey and the sparkle's worn off a little bit, you can still be chemically addicted to a person, but it's still gonna sting when you're like, why am I not fully fulfilled even though I had the Band-Aid that I promised myself? I had my one golden ticket that I promised myself would make everything better. You know what I mean? And that's kind of a devastating feeling. Like, I don't think love addicts should be made fun of. And I think obsession always is rooted in something. But, you know, to have someone who used to date your ex just be doing so well while your man's is crashing out must feel a certain way. And look, we already have this. So look at this major difference right here. What immediately came out for Hailey was like, I want this shiny, pretty thing to feel fulfilled. You know, that's just the energy even of the archetype, even if we took her out of it. But what immediately came out for Selena is, I am emotionally fulfilled. And I think it's interesting too, because she's that Cancer in sidereal and in tropical. But there's just that, oh wow, like I'm emotionally fulfilled. I'm working on projects that I care about. I'm with somebody who fills my cup up. Oh, let me plug in my computer, y'all, before this goes off. I don't really need it, but just in case I don't want to look at any other notes, plug that in. But yeah, the emotional fulfillment is real. And I think this card came out too in the engagement reading. And if y'all didn't watch, I'll link it, but if y'all didn't watch the engagement video for Benny and Selena, it was basically just like, they're happy, you know, like, whoop-de-doo, I don't know what else to tell you, girl. They're happy. And this, I mean, this is all you need right here. And I think that that's a major difference. Because I don't doubt that, especially being famous so young. I don't know if she's ever talked about it, and I don't mean to speculate if she never has, but Selena might have dealt with her own addiction issues. And, I don't know. I think that, like, for her, it's always been love is the goal. And remember, Selena Gomez was famous in her own regard as much as Justin Bieber. I don't know if y'all were watching Wizards of Waverly Place or, like, with Selena Gomez in the scene, but she was everywhere. And she's managed to. And we'll talk about this because both women have 22 as their birthday, July 22nd and November 22nd, which is a very significant number. But, yeah, I mean, Selena Gomez was everywhere, so I wouldn't be surprised if she developed some of her own love addiction. But she seems very beloved by her family, who support her a lot. And, you know, she seems like a loved girl. And it's a bit different when it's like when you're going for fulfillment in all things of your life versus when you're like going for a shiny, pretty thing. And, you know, for the Hailey energy, it could be maybe she didn't know. Maybe she didn't know what like it was to not just be treated like a shiny, pretty thing. Maybe she's never had her cup filled up before. You know, whereas Selena, and again, from the outside looking in, it seems like her mother loves her so much. It seems like she's a very family oriented person with that Cancer energy. So it's like that makes a person feel fulfilled, you know? We have Wheel of Fortune too, y'all. Wheel of Fortune. And you know what? Like, I think that there's something so strong and lucky about the Wheel of Fortune energy, but it's like, especially if we talk about Selena in regards to Justin, she's lucky in ways that maybe she thought she wouldn't be. You know, like she might have thought that he was her prize, but in reality, she's maybe even more lucky dealing with someone a little more stable. And I don't mean that to knock on him because, again, I don't think anyone dealing with addiction or trauma should be made fun of, but I do think that, like, if you are, you know, if you're an adult, there's certain responsibilities you have no matter what you've been exposed to, we'll say. And I think that for Selena, she's always had like her star. She was always going to be someone successful, but I think that as she's in her 30s now, success looks different than she might have imagined, and probably for the better, you know? So she's nothing but lucky there. Intuition. I think it might have been Selena who broke up with Justin Bieber too. Like, and I want to say that she felt, let me light another incense. She felt like the higher calling to do that. Almost like she felt in her heart that whatever was going on between them wasn't right. And I mean, I didn't look up who broke up with who, but something told her get out. This wasn't just like I don't know. Could have been like a dream, an ancestor, but like some higher energy told her to get out and took her out because, like I said before, it's possible that she dealt with some addiction-y love feelings too, but her getting out and staying out was not just, it's not an accident. It's very clever use and following of her intuition, because I don't doubt his feelings for her at all. I don't really know that much about their relationship. He seemed to like her a lot, but I do think that there's this feeling of like, she knew that when someone's addicted to and traumatized, they're never going to love you to the full extent that they maybe could. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be able to love you past their trauma. They can meet you as far as they've met themselves. And I think that this came from like intuition. And Cancers, all water signs are quite intuitive, but Cancers are intuitive people and they can shut it down or lean into it. And I think that she really listened to, honestly, her inner child and her just intuition to kind of stay away from him, knowing that in the long run it wouldn't be good for her, and knowing that it could damage her path to success. And knowing that like the full love, because she just like, I'm not saying that she's a perfect person, but the energy that I get from her seems sweet and loving and pure and childlike. And I think she knew that like, even though her and Justin may have had a relationship that brought each other's inner child out, she would have to stifle her passion so as to not offend him. And she would never be fully emotionally fulfilled with someone who can't love her back to the full extent due to his own trauma. that she loves him. And I'm not saying that she loves him necessarily more, but I think it's just a matter of, well, the trauma is always going to stand between the two. You know what I mean? Like, what has happened, the things he was dealing with, they were both dealing with as such young people, and the things that they still dealing with now, or at least Justin's still dealing with now, was always going to kind of stand between them. So, yeah, I don't really think that her heart and her inner child could take it. And I think it's probably one of the more difficult decisions that she's had to make. But, you know, when you have someone with this scarcity mindset who's willing to come in and be like, oh, shoot, he can't really love, I'll take it. That's how you have the situation you're in now, where it's like, well, I didn't realize that having this shiny, pretty object wasn't going to fix everything. And he has even said, I thought marriage was going to fix everything, and it doesn't. And this is also a marriage card in terms of engagement and stuff. So I think there were expectations on both sides that now they're trying to recuperate and mitigate when it comes to Hailey and Justin. But, you know, I think it's very quite interesting. And we have a lot. I mean, I was just getting clarifiers for Selena, but when it comes to, like, the passion that she's wanted a lot, and someone, we talked about inner child, someone who's healthily takes care of her inner child, because that's the thing. I think it's one of the biggest thing about the Cancer energy is that they need their inner child nurtured, honey, and almost everything they do is motivated by this. Someone she can have healthy conflict with in the new relationship for Selena, someone who has a healthy delivery of their ideas and just like is very clever, because Justin Bieber is very talented and clever too. He works with a lot of people, but I think when it comes to Benny Blanco, it's like, oh, when I have an idea, he can deliver on it, and that's very attractive. That's a very attractive trait to have. And also a leader. She wants a leader. And that's like, and just like somebody, I think Benny Blanco has his very feminine energies too, but it seems like he's not afraid to lead. Literally, the album is called I Said I Love You First. So it's like someone who's not really gonna play games. And I think that these things were kind of formed before she ever even met, not maybe before she met him, because they might have met a long time ago, but before they really got together. It came down to, I can have somebody who can create with me, someone who's a leader in a masculine role in the relationship, someone who's healthy about my inner child and takes care of my inner child. Because I'm telling you guys, if there's anything I know about the Cancer Collective, it's that they love their inner child to be nurtured. That's what makes them feel safe, which we all do. But Cancers especially, just like, a lot of them have that family wound. So to have their inner child feel safe is a big deal. Someone I can have healthy arguments with as opposed to unhealthy arguments, you know, and someone who my ancestors will be proud that I'm with, and following that intuition. I think that's what it came down to for Selena. The difficult choice to ultimately get that emotional fulfillment led her away from the Biebs. So two interesting sides here, y'all. I'm just gonna pull a few cards now for the energy where they cross over, because it's like when people ask about the stalking, we kind of clarified that on the Hailey side, but sorry, y'all, I'm slurping my tea. Slurping my tea. I'm curious where they overlap, because it's not really, it's kind of difficult for both of them too, because it's not easy to just like have your name in the paper all the time. I mean, we can take a look at these. I talked about love addiction, y'all. And what do we have? Temperance. So I really sense that like Selena's trying to stay healed from this stuff. And what is the temperance card? But a Sagittarius card, representative of Hailey. And that idea of just like, I think life is cold sobering her up to the love addiction. Because we also have this. And of course it's on the phone. And I feel like this is Hailey too, just like reading all the new things that are said about her on the phone, all the stabs in the back to the front. And at the end of the day, everything's fine. But I think she's just having to heal that addiction that she formed to him so long ago that began with fantasy. And that's here too. Like, the Five of Cups is like, this little character is upset because they don't enjoy the taste of wine anymore. And I'm telling you guys, I knew this was going to come out. It's the addicted element of love. So like, they're upset because they don't enjoy the taste of wine anymore. So it's like sobering her up from the addiction because she realizes, shoot, this didn't fix everything. And she might not enjoy the dopamine hits as much. You know, it's like when you progress in any kind of drug pattern, the same supply doesn't get you high anymore. And so I think it's just like the source that used to be like so much happiness and this one thing that like I must get for Hailey is kind of like now it's a bummer because it's like now every time she thinks about what was her dopamine hit, it's a little bit embarrassing. It's like another knife now. What used to be dopamine hits is now that knife. And now choosing to go forward or choosing what to do going forward. And I think that's always been a big deal between them. Again, like I do think it's that it very much was the love addiction energy that led her to the obsession and that idea of like chasing this. So there definitely was an element of like, I'm chasing my golden ticket and I see being this girl or beating this girl, meaning Selena, as my like end all be all. But yeah, y'all, she was chasing her golden ticket for sure. For sure. Just wanting to win. That's the other thing too. I think Truman Capote wrote like more, he was quoting someone else, I forgot who, but the quote is like, more tears were shed over answered prayers than unanswered ones. So we have this scarcity mindset with Hailey, this idea of victory, the idea of, I just want to beat this bitch, you know? So I think like when people talk about the stalking and obsession, I don't doubt that it's true, but I think the biggest takeaway here is the motivation that we don't, the why is what's different. And the Five of Cups again, it's sobering up. She's sobering up from that love addiction, honey, because life is making her, it's forcing her to. And it's an ugly realization. I mean, love, fantasy addiction, all that stuff is real. And judgment too, y'all. I honestly prayers for everyone involved, and I hope, especially for the sake of that baby, that everything will be okay. But it's reached a point, I mean, when you have now 2 Five of Cups, the incredible album and emotional fulfillment of this girl who was all but your enemy, basically. And you have Temperance. Like, we have all this sobriety here. And that's like, she sobering up from the love addiction is the biggest thing. And so we're hitting that judgment point where things can no longer work as they did before. And now this is where I want to go into the number 22, because both of these women have the number 22. And the number 22 in psychic number numerology is the master builder. And so 22 is capable of turning dreams to reality. It's double vision, relationship. The double two is vision, relationship, and creation amplified. So obviously these were very amplified relationships, but I think another big thing about this, y'all, is that like turning dreams to reality. Look at Selena Gomez, who went, obviously there's issues. She had her friend with the kidney thing. She's crying on social media about immigration, which I get if it made her feel away, but it's funny to think like, I'm crying, I'm gonna turn my camera on. Like, that's something I would do like to be fun and as a comedy sketch, you know? But maybe I should do that actually. But Selena Gomez has turned being like a child star and alchemized that into being like an entire different person. Like, she alchemized that into being like, I don't know if she's ever won a Grammy, but like a chart-topping artist now with in her dream relationship that's so silly and fun. And you know, many people either crash out whenever they're a child star, fall into obscurity, and she's managed to keep now a decades-long career. This has to be going on like almost 2 decades now of a successful career. And she's stayed relevant and she's stayed pretty classy. Like, there hasn't been some big expose about her. So she made that dream a reality. Now, when it comes to Hailey, oh, and she has rare beauty, which is like, come on, y'all. It's the fulfillment. It's that, like, it's this motion, you know? Like, she has all these wonderful things. Oh, that's the Wheel of Fortune, too. Like, she might have thought the future was going to be different, but it's like blossomed and she's continued to stay blessed. Rare beauty is supposed to be worth like $1 billion or something, which is not liquid cash, by the way, but like, I don't know, there's something about that to be said. Like, literally count her blessings. They are countable. And she didn't fall where a lot of people think she would stumble. Versus Hailey, who, like, she's had her own blessings, modeling, but the biggest thing that anybody has the impression of, there was literally a magazine article of someone interviewing Justin Bieber, and they remarked how Hailey just sat on the bed the whole time and had, like, nothing to be doing but listen to the interview. Which, now that I say that out loud, it's like, well, it's okay to like want to be there while your boo gets interviewed. Like, I don't think that's as big of a deal as they made it out to be. But I will say that like they were basically trying to put across the point that like she's addicted. She has nothing else. She doesn't nurture herself because she's so obsessed with that. But all that is to say, y'all, that her big thing, turning dreams into reality with that psychic number 22, was getting Justin Bieber, because he represented something so important to her from the time she was so young, which probably to an extent made her underdevelop in certain ways, because she just thought in these very formative years, I can just marry this guy and everything will be okay. Only to discover marrying, have the kid, everything is not okay. And it may still be good. She has blessings of her own. She's beautiful. She has her own successful beauty company and a healthy son with the man literally of her dreams. But when dreams turn to reality, it's like the Truman Capote quote of like, well, more tears were shed over answered prayers than unanswered ones. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and again, the Page of Pentacles, but it's reversed. Like, we've been chasing something that's ultimately unfulfilling, like chasing the shiny object. Queen of Swords, too, like that discernment. The discernment. It's similar to judgment. Like, you gonna find out. Judgment is like the find out portion of fuck around and find out. For sure. 10 of Wands, like things are getting a little burdensome. And King of Swords, again with the discernment. So it's quite interesting here, y'all. But big takeaways: love addiction, possibly a motivator on the Hailey portion, and real emotional fulfillment and inner child seeking intuition catalyzes Selena to break up. Hailey was there. The stalking and obsession is catalyzed by love addiction, but now it's the force to sober up because the source of addiction no longer feels good. It feels like a source of shame. So next comes, of course, judgment, where things cannot and will not go on any further the way they have been, y'all. That's the big takeaway. I hope there was some helpful insights for y'all in this as to the energies of this situation that is so prominent right now. And it's good to not judge anyone involved. It's good to pray for the people involved, especially Justin, because again, like, addiction is a hard thing to be battling. No one deserves to go through that alone. I can't imagine going through that in public. And I don't know. I had fun with this, y'all, and I hope y'all had fun. Comment below. Come get a reading. Let me know what you want me to read about. I'm catching up with y'all's comments and stuff because I'm back in the YouTube world. But I love y'all so much. If no one told you that they loved you today, I love y'all. I hope you're doing things that make you so happy and are so fulfilled. I hope you're growing, loving, learning, meditating, drinking your water, praying, and enjoying the last little bit of Lent. And I'll see you on another one. Bye!